A new dawn in Beijing, the ancient capital of the world's fastest growing country. Home to the 2008 Olympics. It's the vibrant center of a superpower, where the old wrestles with the new. Communism clashes with capitalism. And a new global economy is born, swallowing all in its path. But one thing about its people never changes. Chinese love their food, and now with their newfound wealth, they're indulging their stomachs more than ever. As a child, I'd grown up with the food of southern China, where my father was born. But on my first visit to Beijing 18 years ago, I realized that I'd been missing out. Today, the food here is as varied as it is plentiful. Traditional or modern, Chinese or Western, China's capital caters to all tastes and needs. That's a lot of rich food, and an awful lot of calories too. As China's economy has exploded, so has its waistlines, and today 200 million Chinese are listed as being clinically obese. That's because of changing dietary habits. In many ways, the story of how food has changed here is the story of China in the last 2 decades. So we're going to start our journey in Beijing's streets to see how it all happened. My first stop is Wangfujing, the biggest night market in Beijing, right next to Tiananmen Square. This is a new government business development and tightly controlled by the police. But it's also one of the most popular tourist spots in the capital. And I'm here to meet Crazy Chef, a chef turned Beijing rapper who rose to fame with his song Chinese Food.
Hey, Crazy Chef, 你好。你好，托尼怎么样？准备好了吗？准备好了。哎，托尼给你带来一个新的东西。这个东西见过吗？这叫蚕蛹，准备好尝。
And here comes my first treat. Silkworm cocoons.
别想，吃。
Okay. It's kind of very soft in the middle. The shell's quite tough, but it's actually not bad at all. As if silk cocoon isn't enough to whet my appetite, we move on to seahorses.
这个为什么吃这个？这个对身体有好处，因为它是药材的一种。有什么好处？舒筋活血。那是不是给男人吃这个？可以。
但是他说普通话说的挺好。辣椒要吗？
要辣椒。
干净的蟹。
That is pretty good.
怎么样感觉？
这真不错。
像薯条。
对，
你要不要再来一个？
不用，一个就够了。The food here is definitely not for the faint-hearted or the healthy. Deep-fried starfish, deep-fried swallow spit, and certain parts of an animal, which I thought I'd never eat. I think there are some things I won't do, particularly not on TV. For dessert, we settle on a plate of deep-fried ice cream, thought by many people to be a traditional Chinese dish. While the ice cream actually doesn't taste that bad, I can't help feeling like a bit of a culinary tourist.
Crazy Chef, 这个是真正的中国菜吗？不是，当然不是。
Well, it's been an interesting evening with Crazy Chef. And we've been eating a lot of bizarre things. It says a lot about modern China, an ancient civilization going global. In the old Beijing, street life and street food were inextricably linked to the narrow alleyways unique to the city, known as hutong, where snacks used to be sold on mobile trolleys. Today, as most of the hutongs here have been demolished to make way for new skyscrapers, and food vendors kept off the streets to keep the city looking tidy, it's hard to find anything of the past, except in one of Beijing's tourist areas. German Snacks is a collection of traditional Beijing street stalls, many of which have been around for generations, and they've come together in recent years underneath one roof in this traditional Chinese courtyard. Walking inside the courtyard is like going back in time. Here you can find all the old favorites that Beijing's streets had to offer. Rice cakes, intestines, fermented soy milk, stuff that people don't normally eat today.
这个小店是卖什么？
这小店是卖牛羊的肚子。
做这种生意你是第几代？
我是第3代了。在我父亲那一代呢，就在宣统年间了，自己摆一个摊儿，爆肚摊儿。那时候卖爆肚，因为跟宫廷里的太监呐经常接触，然后介绍我们到给宫廷里头御膳房送这牛羊肚。啊，这个皇上啊，各个嫔妃啊，他们也品尝这个，拿筷子给你和了一顿肉。
Well, Mr. Fang's just told me there's a sauce that goes with this, which is the principal ingredients are garlic, a sort of sesame paste, and soy sauce. So let's give this a try. That's really good.
And on to the next.
哎，你好，那这是什么东西？
牛蹄筋儿，牛蹄子上面那根筋，这是一个品种，但是2种味道，放在这个火烧里，给它夹在里头，啊，有点中国汉堡。
这是中国汉堡。
中国汉堡。
那这个你的小店，你是第几代？
我是第6代传人。
第6代。
对，第6代传人。
哇，你
这是第7代传人啊。月盛斋，从到现在的话，234年的，有皇上的时候，这个东西是进贡的东西。那时候，这一天有白天卖的东西，有晚上卖的东西，品种很多。现在要说起来的话呀，有些东西就都失传了。
In China, the decline of traditional street food has a political reason as well as an economic one. 50 years of communism means that all private businesses were closed down during the Mao years and street food taken off the streets. But no one here wants to tell me this on camera, as the Chinese are still cautious about speaking to foreigners. Today, it takes a charismatic businessman to bring these families together again for a capitalist culinary experiment.
这道菜是北京的民间的最传统的小吃之一，叫驴打滚儿。
Hou Jia is the founder of Jiumen Snacks. 20 years ago, he was selling Western clothes in Beijing's first free market. Today, he's selling traditional Chinese street food and the culture that goes with it.
真正的北京小吃，就是咱们一个城市的一个 DNA。它跟那个北京的胡同和一些古建筑，像故宫、颐和园一样，长城一样，是不可改变的东西。来到我们这个店，感受的呢，就是咱们原汁原味的市井文化，也叫草根文化。
Judging by the number of his customers, Hou Jia has been very successful in reviving a lost culture. Looking around me, though, I can't help feeling that this is museum food, far removed from the taste of modern China. Even Hou Jia admits he has some very big rivals.
我的孩子更多的认可的是，就是麦当劳、肯德基、星巴克，还有这些等等这些东西。我个人认为是一种文化的侵略。
Since China opened up for economic reform, it's also opened up to Western influences. As Western fashion and Western music have bombarded the Chinese market, a new generation of Chinese are growing up with Coca-Cola and Big Macs. The arrival of fast food in China answers the needs of millions of Chinese who live life in the fast lane. But while it's helped drive forward China's economy, experts fear that it's driving up the nation's cholesterol level too.
1 in 4 teenagers in big cities are overweight.
'21st century China is growing at breakneck speed, but so too is the nation's weight. As China goes global, street life has given way to modern life, and street food to fast food, much of it rich with fat and sugar. 21% of restaurants in China today sell Western-style fast food, in China's 8 largest cities, including Beijing, 50% of people eat fast food regularly. But is too much unhealthy fast food the only reason that many Chinese are becoming overweight? I've come to a traditional wet market in Beijing to meet Professor Li Liubai, a nutritionist at Beijing University. Over the last year or so, the Chinese government has closed down many street markets like this because the chaotic scenes here are considered unflattering to the modern image of an Olympic city. But many locals, like Professor Li, still shop here for its fresh produce.
I do shopping for my family,
Right.
for my son
Yeah.
of 15 years old
Right.
boy,
Yeah.
and my husband, he is a vegetarian.
Oh, he's a vegetarian?
Yeah.
Which is quite rare in China.
No, increased.
Really?
People increased because of many people worried about their to suffer from heart disease.
Professor Li is also a government advisor on dietary management, and she believes a changing diet in China has contributed significantly to the nation's weight gain.
20 years ago, we only eat meat, generally pork or mutton during festival. Now every day we can eat meat.
Now, Dr. Li, we've got lots of milk here, dairy produce, but traditionally that wouldn't have been part of a Chinese diet, would it?
Before, we feed the child with soy products and some porridge, rice. Now, with the development of the economies, the milk increased.
And what about the old diet?
We've got tofu, it's very traditional bean curd.
Traditionally, we Chinese eat this to supplement some proteins,
So this is protein but no fat.
some fat,
Some fat.
healthy fat.
Healthy
yeah.
fat, okay.
yeah.
After all the hustle and bustle, it's time for a rest. I've seen so many simple but healthy foods the Chinese traditionally eat. Does a richer diet actually serve them any better?
20 years ago, we just ate 3 meals, almost all of them from carbohydrates. And now people eat more animal foods. So about more than 10% of adults in China, Chinese are obese now. And about 15% of children and adolescents are overweight.
China has this problem with obesity, but to be frank, when you look around, ordinary people don't look that fat. Why is that?
Because our body composition are different from that in Western countries. So even if we are very fat, from outside you cannot discriminate this is obese people or normal weight.
But how exactly is a rich and modern diet affecting the health of the next generation of Chinese?
Well, I've just arrived at the Beijing Elementary School, where they've started a program to get overweight kids to do more exercise. So every day they're coming into school early to run through some exercises to help them lose weight. It feels pretty tough. This is stretching places that I haven't stretched for a very long time. The teacher's just given us the 4th set of 25 dips, and it's really starting to hurt. My knees certainly aren't as flexible as those of my young friends. I think I'm going to have to give up at this stage. It's pretty hard work too.
And if such vigorous exercise is not going to keep their weight down, I wonder what's keeping it up.
Hi, Bill. All right, now I want you to do me a big favor. I want you to take a pen and a piece of paper and write down your 5 favorite foods. And I want you to be honest. Tell me the things that you really like to eat, okay? Okay.你喜欢喝啤酒吗？
非常喜欢。
非常喜欢。谁给你喝啤酒？
那我爸小时候，那我妈给我喝。我爸不是拿一瓶嘛，那热，让我爸睡觉去，结果让我爸不带我全给喝了，喝完了直接藏起来了。结果我爸起来一看，说啤酒怎么没了？我说被我喝了。
那爸爸跟你怎么说呢？
那我爸说以后你别喝，你不能喝太多。
是不要喝，
啤酒很好喝，很好喝的，扎啤很好喝。对。
With the children's food wish list, it's time to go and do some shopping.
Here we've got some sweet bread, some biscuits, we got some fatty pork and some steak, some nice healthy yogurt, but this is full of sugar. Traditional Chinese dumplings, but these are straight out of a factory. And we've got a whole row of chocolates. Deep fried chicken. Hamburgers and sugary soft drinks. Well, we've got our shopping now, and I'm going to go back to Professor Lee and see what she's got to say about this.
All of these foods are all children's favorite. I think I'm not surprising about it. This is chocolate, right?
The children's food list proves Professor Lee's point as a nutritionist that the nation is gaining weight on a sugar and fat-heavy diet. But as a mother herself, she confesses the reason behind teenage obesity in China is social as well as economic.
We only have one child, right? And all of our hopes are added to his shoulders.
Right.
You know.
Over the last 3 decades, China's one-child policy has produced a generation of spoiled little emperors who've too much to eat and too little time to play.
Many parents push children to learn more things, more skills from very young age. Generally, we from 4 years old, they will learn piano or something. Some parents give reward children with foods. If the child asks for it, we generally do not refuse.
If we don't do anything about this problem now, how serious will it be in the future?
Now we about 1 in 4 teenagers in big cities are overweight. If we do not do anything to control this situation, after 10 or 20 years, we will reach the high level of overweight or obesity, just like Western countries.
And China is fast catching up with the West in influence and prosperity. But it's also paying a price for its own success as millions of Chinese have fallen victim to a rich and often unhealthy diet. But is there a future for traditional Chinese food, be it a street dish or a family meal, that's fast, tasty, and healthy too? I've come to a chef's training school in Beijing for the answer. Master Chef Lee here has revived an old street dish, stir-fried rice noodle with less oil and lots more vegetable.
The heat here, you can really feel it coming off. Flames, watch your eyebrows. And now the aromatic herbs, the garlic, the spring onion, the chili. Again, you can smell that coming off. It's incredibly rich flavor, and it's amazing how quickly it cooks. And there in goes the cabbage. Giving it a quick stir, never letting it stop for 1 second on the wok. And in with the rice noodles. again. Swirling it all up, mixing it together so that all of those flavors combine. And now the sauce is a mixture of salt, sugar, some Chinese wine, some soy sauce, of course, and a little bit of oil. And the smell is incredible. Really rich and coming off so quickly from the dish. Just a little bit of oil to finish it off. And the chef was telling me just now that it's also important for the sauce to remember the color of the dish. This is all about a visual feast, not just a feast for the stomach. And there it's done. And that's all in a matter of a minute 30. Chef Lee is going to give me the honor of tasting this, and it smells fantastic. It looks very good too. Let's see how it tastes. It's fantastic. Frankly, I'm just going to have to carry on eating.
And now it's my turn.
Well, I've now realized one of my ambitions, and that is to become a Chinese chef. And it's something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. In fact, that's why I learned to speak Chinese in the first place, because I always wanted to be able to order Chinese food in a Chinese restaurant. Now I can cook it as well. Well, we've pretty much come to the end of our journey through Chinese street food. It's been a journey through which we've seen an awful lot of change.
China is a country gone from famine to feast in less than 25 years. Some of the changes have been good, some have been bad. But one thing remains constant. The Chinese people love their food, even if it comes at a cost.